further ado, it is my pleasure to invite Sanjay onto stage to give a speech. Thank you.
So, as Nisha alluded to, I started to form my man crush on Rishi about 10 years ago when we met at the beginning of his freshman year at Northwestern. I call this the first chapter of the Rishi Taparia that I know. When I first met him, he had short, spiky hair, a big, thick silver chain, and piercings in both ears. He also casually mentioned that he's from a faraway place, a place called Indonesia, or as he referred to it, Indo. Despite the differences in our origin though, we quickly learned that we shared the same appreciation for samosa socials, 24-hour Burger Kings, and the musical arts, or Jay-Z, Nas, 50 Cent, and Brown Sugar. But what really stuck out to me was Rishi's passion for mastering a particular academic field. Despite already being fluent in his mother tongue, Rishi insisted on taking 6 consecutive quarters of beginner's level Hindi just to fulfill his language requirement. Rishi was, in fact, the big man on campus. So much so that his screen name reflected it. Big Rish 2004. I still remember one of the first parties we invited him to. Before he got there, things were kind of tame. All of a sudden you hear a knock on the door, crack it open slightly, and you see Rishi's smiling face. And then the door opens fully, and you see that he's brought every brown person in his entire dorm. Now, college is, of course, also where Rishi met Nisha. I wasn't there the day that it happened, but according to Rishi's Wikipedia page, it was like a scene out of the Bollywood movie Kuch Kuch Hota Hai. It was a bright, sunny fall afternoon, and Rishi and his friends went to the Northwestern football game and were sitting in the stands. And then off in the distance is this tall, fair, beautiful Indian girl who had never appeared on his Facebook feed before. So Rishi takes off his sunglasses to get a better look. And at that moment, he decides, I must do something. I must do something big. So what does he do? Despite not having any classes together, he asked Nisha to study together. So, a few years passes, and Rishi enters the next chapter of his life. I call this Empire State of Mind. Rishi had a great job lined up at the iconic firm of Merrill Lynch, and was all set to be the next Wolf of Wall Street. Unfortunately, being the most junior man on a team full of bankers doesn't give you a lot of free time to keep in touch with friends and family. But somehow Rishi made it work. Every 2 weeks he would diligently call me, either on his way back from the office or literally at his desk, just checking up on me, just like he did with each of his other 75 close friends. So New York wasn't all work, of course. Rishi frequented some classy joints, including PS 450, Antarctica. Not quite as good. But the best thing about this chapter wasn't in New York. Nisha was in Chicago. So how did they make long distance work? I think at a minimum, it involved Nisha's patience and good-heartedness. When she would visit Rishi in New York, Merrill Lynch had him on lockdown, chained to his work computer like an inmate. So how did Nisha respond? She would sit gracefully next to him and wait for his few minutes of freedom later that day. So we're on to the last chapter. I call this one California Love. A few years later, Rishi came to his senses and moved out west. Upon arrival, Rishi knew but a few people. 3 weeks later, he'd eclipsed my entire network and become better friends with anyone I introduced him to. There was even one time on Mother's Day where he called my mom before I did. It was at that point that I realized what makes Rishi so special. Somebody once said, important people in your life stay relevant in your life. Important people in your life stay relevant in your life. Rishi has this ability to be an important person in your life because he finds a way to stay relevant. He's always there to remember every conversation you share. He's there to make sure you never feel lost in a big crowd. And he's there to support you through every big decision. The end result is that Rishi becomes friends with a wide spectrum of people. Bartenders, cashiers, bouncers, personal trainers, and even celebrities like Magic Johnson and Joe Montana. Now, as a more personal example, and I know this is going to sound really ridiculous, but there may have been a point in my life where I thought I was the next Daisy Eminem. So the point is, somehow Rishi's iPod had every one of my tracks on his most playlist. And so, Rishi, I may not have ever made platinum status, but I know I got at least one fan. And so I'm confident, Nisha, that Rishi will always be for you what he was for me during these chapters. Always keen to keep himself relevant in your life and therefore always being an important person in it. As for the beautiful Nisha, I'm pretty sure my son Krish's first crush, when he was all of 10 days old, was on her. No person I know makes me laugh as much and is so willing to laugh at themselves at the same time. Rishiandnisha will always keep your journeys comedic. Like the time she marched us onto the wrong plane, going to Baltimore instead of San Francisco. Nisha was so confident in her stride that the ticket agent didn't dare advise her she was boarding the wrong aircraft. With the exception of that moment, she never will and never has led you astray. So I wanted to wrap this up in a special way, since it is a big day for one of my fans. So I'm going to come out of retirement for a second. Hey, DJ Salim, can we get that track up? For you, Tess. First name Rishi, last employer Matrix, 1,500 Facebook friends, boy that ain't nothing to play with. Started off in Indo, but thanks to all the intros, he's owes Joe Montana on a first name basis. We're chilling in San Jose filled with brown people. Nisha insists Fremont's got more class. We know. Come and find her at Stanford in the fall, Palo Alto. If Rishi had his way, we'd be Jakarta, Indo. Hopped on the plane in 04 to a life he couldn't fathom. Who would have thought this beautiful wife would have been the outcome? Everybody had roots here. Rishi did it without none. He's an outlier, tipping points like Gladwell, Malcolm. Ever since he met Nisha, he's been taking care of business. And when she walks in the room, he'll be smiling like it's Christmas. She's been breaking all the boys' hearts, including baby Christians. I'm just glad I got to be part of this and glad I got to witness them become Mr. and Mrs. There she goes, passing through the stadium
down when he's with his bros. Nuts he goes, macadamia he goes so ballistic. Whoa, she can make him look like a bozo. He's wondering if he should spit this slow. Heck no, go for it, bro. It's hard never beat this fast, oh no. He never had a crush like this in his life before. She's been waiting patiently for this boy to close. Trapped in the gaze and can't let go. Asking to be the same as before. Asking the flame is it glows. Asking to take his name and he knows. The passion, the flame is ignited. You can't put it out once it's lighted. This is exactly what Bollywood means when they write it. Forget the beat, I'll go a cappella like Pen Masala. Rishi, I love you, fella. Put your hands